No, Lee's not.
Till you bridge to it?
He was in Hawaii.
Oh, that's right.
I'd like to gavel in our regularly scheduled meeting for May 19, 2014. Please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Alderman Harper.
Here.
Alderman Robertson.
Here.
Alderman Kramer.
Present.
Alderman Tui.
Here.
Alderman Leahy.
Here.
Alderwoman Manister.
Here.
Next item, approval of the agenda for the May 19, 2014 meeting. Any changes? Hearing none, can I entertain a motion to approve the agenda as submitted?
So moved, Your Honor.
And second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Next item, consideration approval of the regular meeting minutes from April 21st, 2014. Any changes?
No changes.
Motion to approve the April 21st meeting as submitted.
And second?
I'll second that, Your Honor.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Next item.
May 5th minutes.
Yeah, I was going to say, let the record show that Alderwoman Saunders is now present.
Thank you.
Next, approval of the minutes from the regular meeting from May 5th, 2014. Any changes?
Your Honor,
Yes.
point of clarification, and I failed to remember at this juncture, one of these two groups of minutes in the last meeting, Alderwoman Saunders submitted a list of changes. Has that been incorporated into the ones we
I assume so, because we brought them
Yes,
back, right?
they were, and thank you. They
Okay.
were. They asterisked them, and they were put in, and I appreciate
Okay.
that.
Sorry about that.
Now,
Any changes to May 5th?
Just the one that I submitted. Should I read it in, or do we want to
Sure.
just? Okay, page 4, first paragraph. Last sentence of the first paragraph, which reads, after confused by the motion to add language to the bill, if you would add, Alderwoman Saunders asked why staff brought forward the change in the definition calculation of substantial damage. Alderwoman Saunders commented there are plenty of things you can do to improve your rating. Alderwoman Saunders asked how many other items that should be ISO CRS agent make when they perform their audit. Gola stated they provided us with an initial list of 12 items. Alderwoman Saunders suggested we get the entire list to review in order to determine the cost benefit of the additional points. Alderwoman Saunders stated that this change is cost prohibitive and is going to deteriorate our working relationship, because what will happen is you won't be able to make the necessary repairs, and then we will cite you for code violations, and it is going to turn into a negative relationship. We would like to move forward with the flood mitigation in a cooperative manner.
Okay. Is that a motion to add those changes?
So moved.
In second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All
Aye.
opposed? Motion to accept the minutes as amended.
So moved, Your Honor.
In second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Abstain.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Next public hearing, we have none this evening. Next item, bids. Bola?
The city issued a request for proposal on March 25th for a vendor to provide free carnival rides and operate pay-for-play games for the Brentwood Annual Manifest, scheduled to take place this September. The city received a response from just one vendor, American Banner Amusement Company, for a 3-year contract in the amount of $28,000, with an option for 2 one-year extensions under the same terms and conditions. In the second year, 2015, and the third year, 2016, the extensions will be subject to annual appropriation by the Board of Aldermen, but just for you to note, there is a 5% increase in both years.
Okay.
The second item, the city went out to bid for preventative maintenance, inspections, and seasonal startup, and HVAC maintenance and mechanical services for the fire department facility. We received 2 submittals, one from Dahl Mechanical Contractors at $5,902, the second from Vogel Heating and Cooling at $2,200. The best and low bid is Vogel Heating and Cooling at $2,200.
Okay.
The third item, the city would like to upgrade its internet service from Coax broadband to fiber, which is a more reliable fiber service. We received quotes from 3 fiber services, AT&T at $13,411.20. CenturyLink really were unable to provide us with the code because they don't provide service to Hanley Industrial Park area, and this is primarily for the police department. Charter was the third vendor at $10,299, and of this amount, $99 of it will be reimbursable by the PSAP ECC grant reimbursement. So the low and best bidder is Charter Communications.
Okay.
The third item, following the excavation incident that took place on May 5th, a debriefing session was held, and at that session we had representatives from Public Works, Fire Administration, and the city's third-party insurance administrator, Daniel and Henry. The group recommended that the city develop and put into place additional policies and procedures to increase our trench safety training and update the trench safety equipment. So the following items were presented to the Public Works Committee, and they recommend approval of all. The first is an 8x6 hydraulic shield box. The low and best bid was submitted by United Rental at $7,911. The second item was build a box shoring. The low and best bid was submitted by Warning Lights at $16,813.54. The third item is a 16-feet trailer and dual 7K axle with electrical brakes, submitted by Heavy Duty Equipment at $3,850. The fourth item is an atmosphere tester, submitted by United Rental, low and best bid at $725. The fifth item is an air blower with a 15-inch canister, submitted by United Rental at $299. The sixth item is a 9-inch tripod, submitted by Wise Safety at $2,358 as the low and best bid. Seventh item is an emergency retrieval at $3,000, submitted by Wise Safety. The reason why we are discounting and not considering St. Louis Safety is what they submitted did not meet the specifications that were requested of them. The 8th, 9th, and 10th item are a Delta harness, medium to large size, extra large, and an ExoFit harness, medium to large size. Best bid was submitted by Wise Safety at $133, and $412. That concludes all the bids.
Okay. Thank you. Next item, hearing of any matters of public interest upon any persons present. If anybody would like to address the board, please come forward and give us your name and address. Hearing none, we'll move on to introduction, reading, and passage of bills. If I could have a motion for the first and second reading of bills number 5866, 5867, 5873, 5875, 5876, 5877, 5878, and 5879. First and second readings only.
Your Honor,
Yes.
did bills 58, 66, and 67 get reviewed by P&Z?
Oh, I'm sorry, we don't, those are still on hold.
Remaining on hold, okay. Motion to go to first and second readings on 58, 73, 74, 58, 75, 76, 58, 77, 58, 78, and 58, 79.
Okay, thank you. Second?
Second, Your Honor.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. First reading of bill number 5873.
First reading Bill Number 5873 by title only, an ordinance authorizing the mayor and/or city administrator to execute a contract with American Banner Amusements, Inc. for the provision of rides and other services for Madden Fest in 2014 and providing for the effective date of this ordinance.
Thank you. Synopsis, please.
Yes, Your Honor. Bill 5873 for our 2014 Madden Fest, the carnival rides for our City of Brentwood Annual Festival. covers an ordinance authorizing the mayor of our city and/or city administrator to execute an agreement with American Banner Amusement to provide carnival rides at Brentwood's annual Madden Fest Festival. The vendor proposal includes overhead costs such as permits, inspections, gas, and personnel. This increased significantly over time. Therefore, the proposal includes a fee increase of 5% in every year's contract. All this is subject to the annual appropriation by the board. The Public Works Committee has reviewed and recommended approval of the contract for Bill 5873.
Okay. Any questions?
Is it on, my synopsis says on hold, is that? Yeah.
No, we don't need to place on hold.
Oh,
No.
okay. Thank
Okay.
you.
Second reading, please. Second reading, Bill Number 5873 by title only, an ordinance authorizing the mayor and/or city administrator to execute a contract with American Banner Amusements, Inc. for the provision of rides and other services for Madden Fest in 2014 and providing for the effective date of this ordinance.
Okay. Any questions? Motion, please.
Motion to perfect Bill 5873 into ordinance form.
Second.
Second, Your Honor.
Motion was made by Alderman Leahy, second by Alderman Robertson.
Your Honor,
I'm sorry.
if I could, please.
Go ahead.
Just a point of clarification, Bola, we've got the pricing listed for the subsequent years as an agreement going forward, but we're only obligated right now for 2014 with this bill.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Harper?
Yes.
Alderman Robertson?
Yes.
Alderman Kramer?
Yes.
Alderman Tui?
Yes.
Alderman Leahy?
Yes.
Alderwoman Bannister?
Yes.
Alderwoman Saunders?
Yes.
Bill number 5873 is hereby passed as ordinance number 4536.
Thank you. First reading of Bill Number 5874, please.
First reading, Bill Number 5874 by title only, an ordinance authorizing the mayor and/or city administrator to enter into and execute an agreement on behalf of the city of Brentwood, Missouri, with Vogel Heating and Cooling and providing for the effective date of this ordinance.
Synopsis, please.
Yes, Your Honor. Bill 5874, covering our 2014 HVAC, heating, ventilation, and air conditioning maintenance and mechanical services agreement. This covers an ordinance authorizing our mayor or city administrator to execute an agreement with Vogel for mechanical contractors covering that HVAC maintenance and mechanical services agreement. That's 3 years with the option of 2 one-year extensions, and it's contingent upon appropriation by the Brentwood's Board of Aldermen. Public Works Committee has reviewed and recommended approval of Bill 5874.
Thank you. Any questions? Second reading, please.
Second reading, Bill Number 5874 by title only, an ordinance authorizing the mayor and/or city administrator to enter into and execute an agreement on behalf of the city of Brentwood, Missouri, with Vogel Heating and Cooling and providing for the effective date of this ordinance.
I move for adoption, Your Honor.
Second.
Second, Your Honor.
Motion was made by Alderman Robertson, second by Alderman Leahy. Roll call, please.
Alderman Harper?
Yes.
Alderman Robertson?
Yes.
Alderman Kramer?
Yes.
Alderman Tui?
Yes.
Alderman Leahy?
Yes.
Alderwoman Bannister? Yes. Alderwoman Saunders?
Yes.
Bill number 5874 is hereby passed as ordinance number 4537.
Thank you. First reading of Bill Number 5875, please.
First reading, Bill Number 5875 by title only, an ordinance of the city of Brentwood, Missouri, authorizing the mayor and/or city administrator to enter into and execute an agreement with Charter Communications and providing for the effective date of this ordinance.
Synopsis, please.
Your Honor, the topic of Internet services, Bill 5875, covering the Internet service for Charter Communications provided to the city by way of an ordinance authorizing the mayor or city administrator to execute an agreement with Charter Communications. That's for the Internet circuit upgrade to fiber optic. The service upgrades the city's existing Charter coax broadband Internet service to a more reliable, less interrupted fiber service. Ways and Means Committee has reviewed and recommended approval of Bill 5875.
Thank you. Any questions? Alderman Saunders?
I just have one. Robin, how much was this needed for moving to ECDC or in general for our system? What motivated the change, please?
This was already budgeted in FY14, so it was planned and anticipated already prior to any knowledge of ECDC, but it will obviously help with the ECDC transition.
With the transition, or will any of this cost be attributed to that, to the ECDC, or is this just for general?
The capital upfront, the install charges are reimbursable. However, they're only $99.
Oh, okay.
The other costs are considered operational and not eligible for reimbursement.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Second reading, please.
Second reading, Bill Number 5875 by title only. An ordinance of the City of Brentwood, Missouri authorizing the mayor and/or city administrator to enter into and execute an agreement with Charter Communications and providing for the effective date of this ordinance.
Thank you. Motion, please.
So moved, or I move that we perfect Bill number 5875 into ordinance form.
Second.
Second, Your Honor.
Motion was made by Alderman Saunders, second by Alderman Leahy. Roll call, please.
Alderman Harper?
Yes.
Alderman Robertson?
Yes.
Alderman Kramer?
Yes.
Alderman Tui?
Yes.
Alderman Leahy?
Yes.
Alderwoman Bannister?
Yes.
Alderwoman Saunders?
Yes.
Bill number 5875 is hereby passed as ordinance number 4538.
Thank you. First reading, Bill number 5876, please.
First reading, Bill Number 5876 by title only. An ordinance authorizing the mayor and/or the city administrator to exercise an option on behalf of the City of Brentwood, Missouri to extend its medical director agreement between the City of Brentwood, Missouri, SSM Healthcare St. Louis, and Clayton Emergency Group, LLC, for 1 year commencing on May 22, 2014, and providing for the effective date of this ordinance.
Thank you. Synopsis, please.
Yes, Your Honor. Synopsis, a little similar to the title. Bill 5876 covers renewal of our medical director agreement, and that's between the Clayton Emergency Group Limited Liability Company, City of Brentwood Fire Department of St. Louis County, and SSM St. Louis Mary's Health Center. This bill is for an ordinance authorizing the mayor of our city and a city administrator to extend its medical director agreement between the City of Brentwood, SSM Healthcare St. Louis, and Clayton Emergency Group, LLC, for 1 year, and that begins May 22nd of this month. This agreement expires May 21st, 2015.
The current one expired.
Yes.
Public Safety Committee recommends approval to the Board of Aldermen after reviewing Bill 5876.
Thank you. Any questions? Alderman Saunders.
I remember when we did this last year, because we wanted to change to MOBAP, I believe, or another facility, and then we determined that that wouldn't work, and we did with St. Mary's Health Center. But I don't remember this Clayton Emergency Group. Possibly it was there, and I just didn't.
It was there.
It was, okay.
That's the group of doctors that St. Mary's subcontracts out to.
Okay.
And they provide the physicians for the emergency room, and hence they're our medical director.
Okay. Okay, great, thank you.
Second reading, please.
Second reading, Bill Number 5876 by title only. An ordinance authorizing the mayor and/or the city administrator to exercise an option on behalf of the City of Brentwood, Missouri, to extend its medical director agreement between the City of Brentwood, Missouri, SSM Healthcare St. Louis, and Clayton Emergency Group, LLC, for 1 year commencing on May 22, 2014, and providing for the effective date of this ordinance.
Thank you. Synopsis?
We did it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Second reading. Motion, please.
Motion to approve, Your Honor, Bill 5876 as submitted.
And second.
Second, Your Honor.
Motion is made by Alderman Kramer, second by Alderman Leahy. Roll call, please.
Alderman Harper?
Yes.
Alderman Robertson?
Yes.
Alderman Kramer?
Yes.
Alderman Tui?
Yes.
Alderman Leahy?
Yes.
Alderwoman Bannister?
Yes.
Alderwoman Saunders?
Yes.
Good.
Bill number 5876 is hereby passed as ordinance 4539.
Thank you. First reading, Bill number 5877, please.
First reading, Bill Number 5877 by title only. An ordinance of the City of Brentwood, Missouri authorizing the mayor and/or city administrator to enter into and execute a ticket consignment contract with St. Louis Cardinals, LLC, and providing for the effective date of this ordinance.
Synopsis, please.
Yes, Your Honor. Bill 5877, St. Louis Cardinals 2014 Consignment Ticket Program. It's a bill for an ordinance authorizing our mayor or city administrator to execute an agreement with the St. Louis Baseball Cardinals and the City of Brentwood. Parks and Recreation Department has been contacted by the St. Louis Cardinals about their 2014 consignment program. The Cardinals offer a consignment program for an opportunity to use the Cardinals tickets as a revenue-producing event. This year, the Cardinals are willing to reduce that number to 150 tickets, so the city would have less liability. Our Public Works Committee has reviewed and recommended approval of this bill, 5877.
Okay. Any questions? Alderman Leahy.
The Parks Department I'm looking for. There you go. Schnucks never gave us any good numbers to work with. And under the state arrangement, because we're doing this and acting as a consignment for somebody else, we're not violating any favoritism laws or anything of this nature?
I don't believe so, no.
Okay, so we're good that we can take the risk with public monies to do this for the benefit of the whole community?
Yes.
Okay.
Alderman Saunders?
Did we decide what block or what area that we're going to?
We have not, because we wanted to make sure we had approval first.
Yeah.
And again, with dynamic pricing, the price changes every game.
Alderman Lay?
I'm sorry. Go
What
ahead.
exactly are the mechanics? People just go over to the rec center and they can buy these? Or?
We'd be looking at rec center, special events, the music on the menu. We'd be selling them in a number of different venues. But primarily what we'd like to use it for is a civic event.
Do we have a certain number for each game and when those games expire?
It'd be one game.
Oh, it used to be one game.
As I expressed at the meeting, the Public Works, I'm just a little concerned because there's a lot of these nights, like I know my son had a lot with the select ball team. So for me personally, if we can get the residents together and we think that it'll be profitable, it'll be fun to have the community together. We personally kind of shy away from these type of events because we like better seats because we love baseball. But if we can get the whole community, if you don't think there's enough competition, that was I think Alderman Leahy's concern with Schnucks, and then I know select ball teams and that they do the same thing, get the group to go. Does anyone have a feeling? Or
Well, what about which game that would be picked? How is that?
We were looking at either a Thursday night or a Sunday, just trying to figure out. We'd obviously like to pick a good game, and obviously end of the season because we're looking at time constraints.
Yankees.
Yankees are a couple weeks away. That'd be tough for us to sell 150
We don't want
tickets.
Tuesday against the Marlins.
Right, exactly. So we're looking. The nice thing about a Sunday is, depending on the area that we pick, the Sunday you can do the family tickets where you also get the hot dog, the soda included with even this group ticket rate. So that's one of the benefits of doing a Sunday. A Thursday night might be an easier type of night too, depending on who they're playing. So those are the things we're looking at, in addition to dynamic pricing as well. So.
will you explain the cost, how it works, just for the audience, please?
Sure. The idea is that the Cardinals will have basic group rates, and that on the consignment program, they actually reduce it in addition to that, depending on the night. And again, depending on dynamic pricing, it depends. And so at that point, then they offer the city at that rate. And then the city can then sell those tickets up to face value. Now, obviously, we wouldn't do that. We're looking at maybe a $5 markup so we can sell a greatly reduced ticket to the citizens and have a wonderful civic event.
Do you know, have other communities participated in this?
A lot of communities do it, but they do it, unfortunately, as part of like their youth sports program. So it's usually like in connection with their youth baseball night. So that's usually an easier draw. So
We've had Brentwood days at baseball before at the stadium, yeah.
How'd they go over, Mayor Kelly?
Pretty good. I mean, it's just a matter of planning it out far enough so that you have the time to sell the tickets. The Chamber's done it the last couple of years. Matter of fact, I think theirs is coming up in June. I think they had over 50 people with the Chamber last year. So, yeah, I don't think it's that hard to do with families. So,
Parks and Recreation staff's already committed 25 tickets.
Yeah, but we're talking 150.
I know, but
I
it's a
don't
start.
A little bit of stretch goal.
it won't be a problem.
Okay.
I'm from a big family. I think I can round up a few.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Do we have second reading?
No, we haven't.
Second reading, please.
Second reading, Bill number 5877 by title only, an ordinance of the City of Brentwood, Missouri, authorizing the mayor and/or city administrator to enter into and execute a ticket consignment contract with St. Louis Cardinals LLC and providing for the effective date of this ordinance.
Thank you. Motion, please.
Motion to approve, Your Honor, Bill 5877 as submitted.
Second.
Second, Your Honor.
Motion was made by Alderman Kramer, second by Alderman Leahy. Roll call, please.
Alderman Harper?
Yes.
Alderman Robertson?
Yes.
Alderman Kramer?
Yes.
Alderman Tui?
Yes.
Alderman Leahy?
Yes.
Alderwoman Bannister?
Yes.
Alderwoman Saunders?
Yes.
Bill number 5877 is hereby passed as ordinance number 4540.
Okay. If I get a motion to move 5878 down following our executive session we'll come back into the meeting to vote on that.
So moved, Your Honor.
And second?
Second, Your Honor.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Bill number 5879, please.
First reading, Bill number 5879 by title only, an ordinance authorizing the mayor and/or the city administrator to execute an agreement on behalf of the city of Brentwood, Missouri for holding services to be provided by the city of Richmond Heights to the city of Brentwood, Missouri.
Synopsis, please.
Yes, Your Honor, a product of our recent ECDC exchange and change, Bill number 5879, our holding services agreement, covers an ordinance authorizing the mayor of the city of Brentwood and/or city administrator to execute an agreement on behalf of our city with the city of Richmond Heights. That's for holding services of prisoners until such a time when the city of Brentwood and the East Central Dispatch Center's video monitoring system is up and running. The city of Brentwood will book the prisoners at the Brentwood facility, convey them to the city of Richmond Heights facility thereafter. Our Public Safety Committee has reviewed and recommended approval of Bill 5879.
Okay, any questions?
Yes, sir.
Alderman Leahy?
This is only addressing the city of Brentwood, but we have an agreement with the city of Rock Hill. What happened to that agreement?
Well, they're going to need to do their own. We can't make an agreement for them.
But we have an agreement where Rock Hill is paying Brentwood to do this service. Are we going to then take Rock Hill prisoners and transport them over there?
Well, they would have to, if they still want to book them here, they would have to book them here and then take them over to Richmond Heights just like
That's
we are.
correct.
Okay.
The service, I mean, once our service ends, it ends. So.
But our contract doesn't. Our contract, we've extended out for the full year.
No.
We just extended it until the transition with
Right.
ECDC takes place.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Alderman Saunders?
This is kind of related. Do we have an estimate of or a number of the total actual costs incurred in the ECDC transition, the capital costs incurred to date? Does public safety?
We expect, and I don't know exactly off the top of my head, that it depends. If 100% of the cost is reimbursed, so it would include our expense.
No, she means how much have we spent today?
How much have we spent
Today?
today?
How have we already spent?
I don't have that number
Yeah.
off the top of my head.
Right.
Okay,
Couldn't
could we
tell you.
get that number of
Sure.
how much is spent? And then I know in our packages, it was $350,000 we were going to receive from the county. Is that correct for the grant?
No.
No.
And that was what I was attempting to explain. If they were to reimburse 100%, so that would include our cost, ECDC's cost, and the other agencies, it would be almost a little over 300,000. But if it's just our cost and ECDC's cost, it would be about 205,000 that they would reimburse.
But our costs are definitely reimbursable, and we don't, I guess we do
So long
bear
as
the
they're
cost
not-
with ECDC because it'll be spread out, prorated to the various participating.
Could you repeat that?
If they don't pick up the ECDC
They will pick
portions
up the
cost-
ECDC cost. They will pick up our cost. It's just the amount. It's only 70% of the savings that we derive from joining ECDC that they have initially suggested that they would reimburse. However, when we go before the ECC commission, we can ask that they reimburse up to 100% of our cost.
Okay, and how is 70% of the savings? What is that? How's that calculated?
It's the cost of the 911 console, it's the cost of the furniture, all of that.
The savings of
adds
not
up.
having to
Not
put
having to
that
put them
here.
here.
Okay.
So
not
that's
putting
how
it
you
back
get to
here.
that 205,000. But we can get you how much we've spent to date and send that to the board.
Great, thank you.
Okay. Second reading, please.
Second reading, Bill number 5879 by title only, an ordinance authorizing the mayor and/or the city administrator to execute an agreement on behalf of the city of Brentwood, Missouri for holding services to be provided by the city of Richmond Heights to the city of Brentwood, Missouri.
Okay, synopsis, please. I'm sorry, motion?
Motion to approve, Your Honor, Bill 5879, as submitted.
Second?
I'll second, Your Honor.
Motion was made by Alderman Kramer, seconded by Alderman Robertson. Roll call, please.
Alderman Harper?
Yes.
Alderman Robertson?
Yes.
Alderman Kramer?
Yes.
Alderman Tui?
Yes.
Alderman Leahy?
Yes.
Alderwoman Bannister?
Yes.
Alderwoman Saunders?
Yes.
Bill number 5879 is hereby passed as ordinance number 4542.
Thank you. Next item, Resolution 1010. Synopsis, please.
Yes, Your Honor. This was a product of a recent public safety event. Our Resolution 1010, Trenching and Shoring Policies and Procedures, adopts a trenching and shoring policy update with procedures to protect the safety and welfare of both employees and citizens when engaging in sewer lateral line repair program activities in the city of Brentwood. These policies and procedures are in compliance with OSHA-approved trenching and shoring policies and procedures. Our Public Works Committee has reviewed and recommended approval of this resolution 1010.
Okay, you have a motion, please?
Motion to approve Resolution 1010.
And a second?
Second.
We have a first and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Next item, item 9, accounts against the city. Alderman Kramer.
Your Honor, we have a warrant list before you in the amount of $116,102.25 and a pass-through in the amount of $9,500. I'd like to make a motion to approve the warrant list as submitted.
And second?
I'll second the motion, but I have a question
Right.
on the warrant list.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. The last item is worldwide technology. Due to the fact that the power surge is from a lightning strike, is that covered under our insurance? So would that one be reimbursable?
I think when you probably look at the deductible, it doesn't,
Okay.
Yeah.
But we at least walk that avenue. Thank you.
Okay. We have a first and second to approve the warrant list as submitted. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Next item, reports of committee and department heads. I don't have anything under the mayor's report. Public safety is not present. I don't think they have anything. Public Works Committee.
Nothing, Your Honor.
Director of Planning. Thank you. Ways and Means, anything further?
Yes, Your Honor. The next meeting is May 28th, 5 p.m. here in Chambers.
Okay. Alderman Saunders.
There was discussion by a few of the aldermen, I think Alderman Leahy and Toohey and myself, of setting aside the code of conduct because there seems that we feel like we are able to function at present without the code of conduct. And I wanted to know if there would be some interest in just dropping that from the agenda.
Well, it's not on our agenda, it's on Ways and Means.
No, I know,
agenda, so-
but I mean, moving
Well, if that's a
forward.
recommendation, when it comes back from Ways and Means, we can talk about it then, when they forward a recommendation. Okay. City Attorney?
No report, Your Honor.
City Clerk Administrator?
no report, Your Honor.
Excise Commissioner not present. Library not present. Municipal League, they are having their, is that this Thursday? Yeah, it is, isn't it? Or is it next Thursday?
The third annual Muni Awards Show on Thursday, May 29th, from 6:30 to 9:30 at the Forest Hills Country Club.
So, if anybody would like to attend, that's our annual Municipal League dinner, so, and installation of the new officers. So if anybody'd like to attend, just let Bola know, or Octavia when she gets back. Historical Society not present. We will have a closed session. So why don't we go ahead and do any unfinished business? Alderman Leahy?
Last meeting, Your Honor, you were going to have some further discussions. St. Louis County on Brentwood Boulevard. Did that produce anything better than our verbal promise at present?
No, actually, I thought last minute I said I was going to talk to Richmond Heights, but to update on Brentwood Boulevard, really nothing has changed since last year. They are putting the project out to bid. Actually, it might be out already, but under that bid process, the only thing that'll be done this summer will be the curb work, and then to repair the curbs along that corridor. And then they would be moving into the milling and overlay next summer,
Okay.
which
The
is
reason-
really no different than what they had said.
The reason I asked is I did receive 2 emails from residents that also were pointing out that the holes are unfortunately numerous.
Yep. But on that subject, I did talk to representatives of Richmond Heights. And as difficult as it may be for some of our residents to understand their logic, I think really their logic would be the same position that the city of Brentwood would take. and that being one, not using McCutcheon for their construction traffic. Just like if we were doing the building, my comparison would be we wouldn't use High School Drive. The idea with construction traffic is to get it to the main roads as quickly as you can and get it, and not to use the least amount of pedestrian streets or residential streets as possible. And so that, unfortunately, is the access with Eager Road. They have, though, had the developer put additional bonding in place to pay for any repairs or damage to the road that takes place during the construction above their normal limits. I think it was an additional $10,000. So they are.
What's the total with that 10,000?
I think 15, or maybe I believe so. But again, I think if it was, again, the same position we would take if we were doing that project, we would want to get them to the main roads as quickly as possible. Alderman Saunders.
On McCutcheon Road, all of those are gated, so you can't pass through. But do those residents use that entrance to leave? Do they exit onto McCutcheon, or do they just use McKnight? I've seen them up there, and I see the sun panels. And
Some of them is one way. Like, there's no other exit besides the McCutcheon, the gated neighborhood.
Oh, that's the only way they can get out?
They
They
just
don't
have a
go
gate
through to
on the-
McKnight?
Right.
They have a gate and
They
they
have a
have
remote
a
control gate.
pass key or.
Yeah, I saw that they
Yeah.
were
Right.
solar powered, some of them, or it
Right.
appears to be, but, okay, so that's why that's residential, that's just how those residents, okay. I didn't know if it followed through to McKnight.
It does. It goes to Clayton Road.
Well, it goes to Clayton, but to access from their individual subdivision streets, they can get onto McCutcheon and go through the gate. Some of
Okay.
them have gates.
Okay, so that is a heavily used residential road, McCutcheon is?
Well, I wouldn't say it's heavily. It's just more residential than,
Construction.
right.
Okay, it seems more like a cut-through for me, for most individuals, so I don't see I've never actually seen anyone come through those gates, but I'm there fairly frequently.
They do.
But so I just thought it might be another avenue to use. I understand that we would limit it more to Eager, and I don't see McCutcheon being the same as High School Drive with residents.
It's not.
Well,
And the people that are on the east side of
well,
McCutcheon
put it this
don't
way,
exit.
if you're, again, it's backyards of residents, if you want to call it residential or not, but it is the backyards of two subdivisions primarily. And there is a lot of pedestrian traffic that uses McCutcheon as well, both bike and walking and running. But the logic is, if you have, let's use Breckenridge Material, for instance, if they're delivering concrete. So if we were to, in this instance, say that, so then they would have to go all the way down Brentwood Boulevard to Clayton Road and then down McCutcheon in and out, whereas instead of just coming down Brentwood Boulevard and going up Eagle Road to drop off concrete.
I'm fine with them using Eagle Road.
Or their trucks that are, using access to the highway. Again, they would have to go all the way around in order to do that, and in doing so, going through that residential neighborhood. Again, the idea with that is to get it to the main roads as quickly as possible, and I think we would take that same position if we were doing it. So.
I completely agree with using
Right.
Eager Road. I just meant if they did need another avenue, though, I hope McCutcheon is before high school, one of our.
Any new business? Alderman Leahy?
The Ward 3 meeting for the month of May will be Tuesday night, the 27th, at 7 p.m. here in the council room. All are invited. And Monday, the 26th, is Memorial Day. Remind you all to please remember all of those who have spent time defending this country, and some have given their all in order for us to enjoy the liberties that we do have here.
Okay. Alderman Saunders?
Under new business, I had submitted a sunshine request regarding the interfund assets and liabilities, and this has been put on the Ways and Means agenda for May 28th. But currently, the general fund and the capital fund and stormwater owe the tax increment financing funds in excess of $600,000. And I wanted to know if we could move researching that up instead of waiting, if we could begin researching that with Hochschild, Bloom, and the appropriate officials instead of waiting until the May 28th meeting, because I think that's important that we understand. They've been on the books since May.
We don't have a cost, which is why we were asking them to provide us with the cost so that we can then provide it to Ways and Means approving that.
I don't think you cannot not know what's on your balance sheet. I don't think you cannot have, I'm surprised that the auditors can issue an opinion not knowing what a line item liability is on your balance sheet. And to me, that's not a cost like, you know,
Well,
you're supposed, every time you print them out, they're supposed to be accurate or accurate
If you want to make a motion
representations.
with a dollar amount, even though we don't know what that dollar amount would be, Gina, do we have any idea, ballpark figure? We do not.
I mean, that was my suggestion, just go ahead and do it. You know, I think
To
the
do the
only way.
research, have them do the research?
Yeah, with Hochschild and Bloom. I think it's going to cost us, but they're ledger entries that didn't get made. I think the way that process would work normally was when the auditors would come in, they would relay to staff some of those adjustments in order to make. It's the same issue that we ran into with the library a couple years ago, trying to get that balance, but that was a little bit easier. But our current auditors just recommended doing a resolution to wash out those balances in order to make them rectify again. And because they are just journal entries, there's no missing funds. But again, if we want to pay for it to have that research and have Hochschild and Bloom go through their old notes and figure it out, that's fine.
The current resolution was to pay it, not to just, it's not just a journal entry. And the journal entries between the library and the city, they're all city funds. And so you still have to show the liability. But this is between a state, I mean, you can't use the TIF funds for city operations. I mean, it's dictated by statute and a redevelopment agreement. And I can't believe that the auditors would just treat it so callously as though, oh, it's just a missed journal entry when it's $600,000 and it's been on the books unchanged since December 31st, 2012. That's an important...
Well, again, that's right, when everything happened in the city and we didn't have the staff that had that information when we had that transition taking place. So,
Well, Hochschild and Bloom should have a spreadsheet that shows what that balance consists of. It shouldn't be
They're
that
going to have to look
difficult.
through all their ledgers
Right.
as well, so it's going to be an involved process.
Right. We asked them for their notes,
we-
but they said it would take research to get it.
They
so,
have to go
right.
get all the boxes and pull them out, which is why we thought we needed to bring it back to the board and have you understand that this is going to cost us. That's what they've relayed to us.
Okay, I guess I don't understand their working files, because typically when you have a footnote, there's a file that substantiates that. And so it's not like you're just researching general data or someone's throwing you a bunch of information, legal information, and burying you. And
Well, what you understand and what they've told us are two different things. This is what they've told us. So if we want to do it, then we need to pay the money to have it done. I suggest we go ahead and do it so we can resolve it.
I think it's mandatory that we do it. You need to know whether
I
your
don't think it
balance sheet
is. The auditor
accurate.
said it's not, but that's fine. So.
Okay, the auditors say it's not necessary to reconcile that.
Well, no, they've suggested one option that we can use to resolve it, a resolution by the Board of Aldermen transferring the funds over. Or we hire Hochschild Bloom to do the research and tell us exactly what what fund, what percentage goes to each one of those funds. So that's the two options that we intend to bring before Ways and Means. But if
Right.
tonight you want to authorize staff to go ahead and initiate this research with Hochschild Bloom, it will take a motion and possibly a dollar amount, not to exceed $5,000 to start off with. It's really up to the board.
I would move that we reconcile that account with Hochschild and Bloom. I'm not going to limit the dollar amount, but
Okay.
we paid them $20,000 for an audit. I would hope they could substantiate those
Yeah.
Our
balances.
artists want $20,000.
That's an additional cost to do
Right.
this research.
No, I know, but I would hope that they would have, since the,
They
Our
have the
annual audit wasn't
documents.
$20,000 either, so just to be clear, so. I think last year they did it for us, it was 14.
Just to
So
bring,
is there a motion to do that?
yes,
Do
I
we
made
have
the
a
motion
second?
to.
I'll second that.
Okay.
just
Discussion
wanna-
on lay.
yeah, I just want to be clear. What we're going to do is justify what we're carrying on the books as an account that we show that we still owe to the TIFs versus just transferring the money straight to the TIF accounts right now. Because we've closed a couple TIF accounts, we still need to make sure that we're paying it into the right accounting system. as to who gets control of what the cash is on the transfer. Now, we failed to move this cash in 213 and 212 because we had change of administrations.
Well, that's actually why I think the transfers were made, the journal entries were made.
We're not, okay, thank you. So we're trying to justify which it is. Is the cash sitting somewhere that it shouldn't be, or it was made and no journal entry was made?
Right.
Okay,
Because all the TIF payments were made.
all right.
So, right.
Yes, or otherwise we wouldn't have been able to close.
Right.
So my question is, and forgive me for taking the long way around, go back to the contract we had for the auditing of the book, the general books at that time. Would this not have been work product of that audit? And thus it should be in under the current dollar rate of that year's contract to do the audit.
It will be in the work product, and I'm happy to look at them. I actually thought about Sunshine requesting them just because I
They've
do
already
understand.
Well, we don't
But
have
the one
them.
thing I
That's
need
what Hutch
to, okay, the
Bloom
one
said
thing
we
though
need to
I need
pay
to
to
tell you
get.
though is 2012, Showalter and Jabori put it on the books because the amount was different in 2011.
We've been able to resolve some of them.
And so,
You've
well,
noticed that the list
these
has
are the
dropped.
three. And so 2012, then 2013, Showalter and Jabori made no change to that account with this audit. And they don't know what it is.
Because this was done under a different,
Well, the 2011
Contractor,
balance was
vendor.
different, and they were the ones that audited and recorded the
Showalter and
2012.
Jabori did not.
Didn't do the audit for the year ended 2000?
I don't believe so.
No,
Yes.
we
just hired them
we didn't
last year.
switch till later.
Yes, they
Yeah.
did. They did
No,
last
we just
year's
hired
Last
them
year was
last
the
audit,
first year that they did it.
and
Yes.
they audited December 31st, 2012, and they
Right.
just completed the audit for the December
13.
31st, 2013. So
Correct.
it's their numbers.
No,
The
it's
11 numbers aren't.
No, and that's what I mean. The 11 number was different.
The beginning balance, you're saying.
All right. Can I go back to the question that
Sure.
I asked on the floor? Based on my understanding of the processing and stuff, would this not be work product under the individual contracts for doing the audit? And thus, the rate and everything should be established on that yearly contract. Thus, I'm not sure why I'm asking them to quote doing additional research at a price when it's already been contractually defined.
They're not of the same opinion.
It's not, though, additional work because it's a footnote, so they wrote the footnote. You don't test everything on the financial statement, but when there's a footnote, you write the footnote, and so you have to, those statements that you make in there have to be accurate, and that's the auditing firm that writes the footnote.
We've talked to them at length, and they feel it's going to be an involved project, hence they want to be compensated for it.
I think if you look at this from just they're a private business, they did the audit, we took the opinion, and now we're asking them to go do more work after we've relieved them. They're not just going to go do this and give us high-quality effort for free, especially after we fired them. I mean, that's just...
Not
the real
asking
world.
for free, but the contract that we hired them under already established the hourly rates for what we were doing. I'm expanding that effort so that we get this footnote resolved. Why wouldn't it be under the work product of that contract? So those rates should be still contractually binding.
They are of not the same.
They're not agreeing with us.
So I guess it's a matter of, do we want it done? If we do, they would be willing to do it at a cost.
I will requisition their work files, and then we'll go from there. I'll take a look at what their
Well,
work
that's what they
files-
said we would have to pay for because they're their files.
Well, we're entitled to see their work files. The aldermen are.
No, I mean, that's what they're telling us, we're not.
The work
That's
paper,
because we've asked for that.
the work papers are theirs.
Right.
Can we restate the motion?
Well, we have a motion on the floor. Why don't we call for a question? Do we want to pay to have this done or not? Roll call.
Well, hold on, I would just want to make sure I
I didn't
understand what...
amend
What's the motion again?
I don't
It was
understand
to-
what the motion
The
is.
motion was to go ahead and start our agreement with Hucktown Bloom to pay for having them research and come up with those entries. That's what the motion was.
Is that your?
Yeah, my motion was that we find out what these balances are. So, I assume we need Hochschild and Bloom's, well,
Didn't you actually send them a letter, Frank, requesting?
I sent them a letter sometime back. And
Wait.
And again, this is just kind of new to me tonight, what's been going on recently, but I thought that they had responded to the letter I sent sometime back. I don't know if this is, this is the same matter? Okay. Yeah, I did say, it's probably been,
Gina's
well over a
going
year.
to come up and talk a little bit more since she's been interacting with them.
Frank, what was the response that you...
I was under the impression that our current auditors had received or they had agreed to
That's a
provide.
Oh, that was a different one.
Okay, I've got to go back and look at it and see exactly what I requested.
Gina, do you want to share the conversation you had?
I do believe you do have a memo describing all of this in your packets. But I met with Hoshaw Bloom when I first got here in 2012, and that was one of my main concerns, what's going on with these balances. I can look back in Fundware and see that those balances have gone up and down with the year-end adjusting entries since the beginning of Fundware.
Okay.
So it goes back a long way. It's at the end of the year, they look at everything that we've done with the TIFs. Let's just talk about the TIFs. And if there was a underpayment or an overpayment or something like that, they would book that as a receivable or a payable. And it would go up and down depending on overages and unders. So anyway, so that's what that is. And so for them to come up with the number, and once it goes to the TIF fund, where does it go from there? Because the TIF fund, those funds go out to the TIFs. So it's very involved. If it were not very involved, it would be resolved by now.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. I guess it's a little bit insulting to me that you think it should be just a flip of a switch and it should be fixed. That's not the case. It's very complex and it goes back many years.
No, not you, Gina. I think that the auditors should be able to help us resolve this, not you. You were, as you said, when I asked about this after the December 31st, in June of 2013, you said it's been on the book since I've got here and I don't know what it is. And so, not you, but the auditors should be able to help us figure this out since it is in a footnote. And as you say, normally timing differences, you do see it go up and down, and it has. But December 2012, 2013, and into 2014, these three accounts have now remained unchanged.
And that's because there have been no underpayments and overpayments since I've been here.
Okay.
So that's what I want to make sure you understand, is the reason why it's not changing is because nothing has changed with those balances since I got here.
Okay. And so your December payments had gotten in before any kind of cutoff, and so you had no payable.
There's been no miscalculations that have caused due tos and due froms between the funds since I've been here.
Okay.
But again, they're going to have to go back to their work papers where they made each adjusting entry and determine what makes up that adjusting entry. Is it the square? Is it the point? Is it the promenade? It could be, I mean, ideally what should have happened is at the end of each year, they identify this, and then in the subsequent year, it's corrected. But unfortunately, it wasn't, so they just keep building over time. And that was the issue.
Okay, and what I'm thinking is that Hochschild Bloom, not you, at the end of the year, since they're identifying these interfund, that they have a schedule that shows what that balance is made up of.
Right.
But you're saying that does not exist, or they're saying that doesn't exist?
I think what they're saying is they're going to have to go back to, let's take an example, the 2005 adjusting entries, because they can say it came from 2005, but then they're going to have to look back at their 2005 work papers and determine this adjusting entry is for this much is the promenade, this much is the point, this much is the square, and that kind of thing. I don't think they have a schedule that says all of that. I think it says adjusting entry number 42 from 2005 and adjusting entry number 33 from 2006 makes up the balance. But then they're going to have to go back to those adjusting entries and get the detail.
And my concern is with them, that since they issued this footnote and they didn't put any disclaimer on it or something of we can't substantiate these balances, but we feel like it's below scope or what have you, that should have been their responsibility. And they should have been able to transfer that information to Showalter and Javorri. not yours.
Right.
Theirs.
Right.
One more question, if I may, Your Honor.
Lee.
Am I correct that these funds get transferred to United Missouri Bank because they hold the TIF accounts?
Correct.
And may not show if part of the argument is that maybe the funds were transferred, but the journal entries were not made properly? Would not UMB have come back to us saying, by the way, I'm missing these payments? Or, yeah, by the way, on these dates, I received these payments? It may not be the best and cleanest way to get to a quick answer, but it's a check to verify where we seem to understand. Because I'll agree that we're talking enough of a fund, somebody would have raised a stink saying, wait a minute, my account's short.
Right. I think the other important thing to understand too is this does not impact any individual fund's fund balance because it's basically a liability and a receivable. If it's a liability for a fund, the cash is there to move. It's just waiting to be moved. So I just want to make sure everybody understands it's not like, all of a sudden if we do move this money out of the general fund into the TIF, that the general fund's fund balance is going to go down. It's not. It's just that the cash balance has that in it so that it's ready to be moved. So I don't know. That's kind of an accounting explanation.
Right.
But
Right.
Okay.
But it's
I do
moving to a
believe
TIF
it can
fund
be
that's
resolved,
outside.
but I do think it's going to take Hochschel Bloom, which when I started in 2012, I was hoping to get them to do it for us before we let them go.
Right.
And we weren't able to do that. So,
Right.
So the motion on the floor, Your Honor, if I understand it, is for this board to determine whether or not we wish to move forward with this action, or if we wanted to go through Ways and Means to determine what best course of action before it comes to this board?
That's fine.
not the motion.
Well, the
I'm
motion
will-
was,
well, I'm
the
willing-
motion was to pay to have it done, I thought, but that's fine.
I am willing to withdraw my motion if Cindy's willing to withdraw the second. I just would hope that we would research more with Showalter and Jabori what their responsibility is exactly, under the terms of that contract. And who exactly, if you're permitted to see the work files or not.
Since it's their work papers, Hochschel Bloom.
I don't think that's right.
Well.
I may be wrong, that's why I'm saying
you keep
check.
but I'm just telling you what they
But I
told
think
us.
I've read.
Work papers
You
belong
said
to
it,
auditors. No, the financial statements belong to us, but the actual work papers are their proprietary work product.
I think it's different, though, for local governments.
Okay, well, that is their stance, that's their position right now. If you want to take it back to Ways and Means, that's fine. And discuss it there, so. You withdraw your
I'll
second?
withdraw my second.
I'll continue to research with Bola and Frank to find out.
Okay, thanks, Gina. Okay, if I can have a motion to go into executive session. Did you want to address the board? I'm sorry, yeah. Because I didn't know if you knew that we had the public comment, if that was your chance, so I didn't want to, sorry.
Thank you. Just starting out, my name's Aaron Smith. I'm a former resident of Brentwood on Rankin Avenue. And up until just a few weeks ago, a 911 dispatcher for the city of Brentwood. And I know it's been a complicated and involved process to come to the decision to join East Central. And I just wanted to make sure that you as the mayor and the board knew that I'm grateful for the time and the effort that you've spent in considering it. Even though it was one that had a negative outcome for me and my family, it's one that I think you took seriously and one that hopefully will end up being a good one for the city. One matter that, as I understand, because many of the discussions have been in closed session that is still under consideration, is the proposal for a severance package for those who have been displaced by the decision to join East Central. As you know, me and my coworkers have no real information to go on as far as what has been considered or what is being considered. or if a decision has even been made. But I would simply ask that you do consider applying any severance if one is determined, applying that to all who've been affected, not just those who were able to go to East Central or those who were able to stay right up until the last date. When I did leave for another municipality just a few weeks ago, I did offer to stay with you for, on a part-time basis to help ease the transition. But at that point, my request was denied, and that's entirely within the city's, ability to decide. But so I guess just a request that, as you consider whatever transition or severance or whatever, that you consider applying it evenly to all. And I thank you again for your time and effort in the city. It was a great place to live when I lived here, and it was a great place to work. Thank you.
Appreciate it, thanks. Okay. I got a motion to go into executive session.
So moved, Your Honor.
In second.
Your Honor, second the motion, but I believe we've learned that we have to make a motion as to why we're going into
Oh,
the
for legal,
sessions.
personnel, and contract negotiations.
All three.
Yes.
Second the motion, Your Honor.
Roll call, please.
Alderman Harper?
Yes.
Alderman Robertson?
Yes.
Alderman Kramer?
Yes.
Alderman Toohey?
Yes.
Alderman Leahy?
Yes.
Alderwoman Manister?
Yes.
Alderwoman Saunders?
Yes.
Okay. Well, are we going upstairs? Okay. Upstairs. Go upstairs.
And we will be coming back
Yeah,
here.
we will be coming back. Okay, thank you. I'm sorry, you ready? Okay. We are back in regular session. If I can have a motion for the first and second reading of bill number 5878, please. First and second reading.
I'm sorry.
So moved.
Oh,
Second.
second.
We had a first and second for first and second reading. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. First reading of bill number 5878.
First reading bill number 5878 by title only, an ordinance approving an amendment to agreement to stay litigation in connection with Compass Bank et al. Versus Eager Road Associates LLC et al.
Okay, synopsis, please.
Yes, Your Honor. Bill 5878 is one that covers an amendment to an agreement to stay litigation. This bill is for an ordinance authorizing the mayor of the city of Brentwood and/or city administrator to execute an amendment to the agreement to stay litigation between Eager Road Associates LLC, Compass Bank, Vectra Bank in Colorado, N.A., Alan R. Scott, Adolphus A. Bush IV, City of Brentwood, Missouri, and UMB Bank, N.A. as trustee. As you may be aware, on January 31st, 2014, all the parties entered into an agreement to stay litigation in order to allow the developers to arrange a bond refinancing of the development for a full and complete settlement on the current lawsuits. On May 8th, 2014, the date for the developers to arrange the bond refinancing was extended by agreement of the parties until July 1st, 2014, and on that same date, the court agreed to extend the date.
Okay.
Your Honor, if I may,
Alderman Leahy.
I believe you only mentioned two of the three partners, Mr. Scope and Mr. Bush. Isn't there a third partner in all
Don
this?
Music.
Don Music.
Thank you.
Okay. Second reading.
Second reading bill number 5878 by title only, an ordinance approving an amendment to agreement to stay litigation in connection with Compass Bank et al. Versus Eager Road Associates LLC et al.
Okay. Alderman Saunders.
It is my understanding that this agreement was already agreed to and filed with the courts on May 7th. So I just wanted to note that.
Okay. Do we have a motion, please?
Your Honor, I move to adopt this into ordinance form.
And second.
Second.
We had a first and second. Motion was made by Alderman Robertson, second by Alderman Toohey. Roll call, please.
Alderman Harper?
Yes.
Alderman Robertson?
Yes.
Alderman Kramer?
Yes.
Alderman Toohey?
Yes.
Alderman Leahy?
Yes.
Alderwoman Manistar?
Yes.
Alderwoman Saunders?
No.
Bill
Okay.
number 5875 is hereby passed, and ordinance 4541 is assigned to said bill.
Thank you. Next item, hearing of any matters of any persons present. If anybody'd like to address the board, please come forward and give us your name and address.
No, I have 45. Yeah, but I have 42.
Karen Smith. So if that was passed or already agreed to and filed in court on May 7th, could they do that before you all voted on it? Or did it not matter?
Well, the judge granted them an extension on May 7th, and those two parties agreed, and now this was our opportunity to agree to that. We weren't at the court with the judge.
We affirmed the decision.
Oh, so we're not part, so then are we part of the case? Wouldn't we not have had to have agreed before you all voted?
We just want to make sure we're doing everything properly. So yes, we agreed to the last one, so we're agreeing to this one by ordinance.
But would not have had to have agreed before they went before the judge? How could they pass that if you're on the party, if you're one of the parties?
We had representatives there.
So your representatives agreed to it?
Yes.
Before you voted on it?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes, because this is a lawsuit, and we've agreed to abide by the original lawsuit, which was July or October of 2011, and we've agreed all along that we would abide to everything that we agreed to in that settlement agreement. So
they really didn't even need your vote then? They don't need your vote. What I'm trying to understand is how that can happen.
No. Originally, our attorney said that we didn't need to vote, but we want to make sure that we're doing everything and crossing all of our T's and dotting our I's so that we don't get criticized all the time. So that's why we did it by a vote.
I don't think this is being criticized. I wonder if we're legally following the law. I just wonder.
Well,
Yeah, we're intentionally flattering it.
it was at our attorney's recommendation, so. Motion to adjourn.
Oh, I have one question. We have several members on planning and zoning that are coming up for renewal. Let's see, Terry Knowles is not until June. And then Jeff Moore, I think he's only been on one term, or May of 2014. John Nuremberg, May of 2014, and David Plufka of May of 2014. Their terms are up, and I didn't know if we wanted to consider additional or new people.
Actually, I forgot to bring my list. I think there's a couple other appointments that need to be extended as well, and I'll do that at the June meeting.
Okay, I didn't know. You're just going to reappoint, is
Yes.
that? Oh, okay.
Are we just having the one meeting in June?
Yes.
Okay.
And that is the third Monday of the month.
Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
And second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.